All right. So if you're looking for a great accountant that can handle more than what your typical small CPA firm or your small accountant might be able to, I'm here with Christina Wolf from CPA and owner of Complete Balance. Christina, why don't you share a little bit of how you're different than what you might see out of your typical smaller CPA firm? Introduce yourself.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, I'm a CPA. I have 15 years of experience. I kind of grew up in the audit world of large regional accounting firms, so spent a ton of time in there kind of learning how businesses work, learning the relationships between, a balance sheet and a P&L and how things interact with each other. And what we're really trying to do is kind of fill that need between basic bookkeeper and huge accounting firm, because a lot of our clients, they'll come to us and they'll be like, I've been using this bookkeeper for 10 years and now we need an audit, or now we need some kind of funding, or a lender's looking for our financial statements, and like they're all wrong. So we've been able to find a lot of success in cleaning up really, really messy accounting records. And just having an audit background, that's kind of how I was trained. Like I trained to look for the mistakes, fix the mistakes, figure out where the mistakes are hiding and how to fix them. So we really excel in that messy cleanup. And then, we have a lot of background in internal controls are a big part of an audit, but during that process, you really learn good business processes and best practices. So we really succeed in that area as well, where we can kind of look at your business processes or look at your internal controls and implement better processes or layer in some better softwares and things like that to help the business procedures and processes flow more smoothly. And the kind of combined result of the two of those is that we get a really consistent, really accurate monthly financial statement, and we're able to duplicate that over time. And once you have really good, really cleaned up financial statements, then we can use that to make business decisions. So cash flow planning and projections and things like that.
So you guys are really an alternative to hiring your own CFO or having a bunch of staff. You have a team, right? So talk to me about the team and what role are you playing with these businesses as you do this service?
Yeah, so we kind of have the ability to act as a bookkeeper, like a really high quality but simple bookkeeper, all the way up to acting CFO. So we have some clients that are, we provide month-end close, takes us a few hours a month. We have some really skilled staff on the team. But I think what sets us apart is that even those super simple, quarterly even or monthly financial statements are reviewed by a CPA. So even, we treat our smallest clients like, we want to give them the most accurate reports as well. So everything we send out is reviewed by a CPA, but a lot of our clients, we act as kind of everything they need. So a bookkeeper, a controller, somebody who's more in the weeds on the more detailed, higher level accounting. And then we even have some clients where I am the acting CFO. So I'll make business decisions for them. I'm, the signer on their retirement plans, and we're running payroll, and we're working on hiring decisions and cash flow decisions. So we really have the ability to kind of staff every level between bookkeeper and CFO.
And what does that enable the business to do? They no longer have to hire, manage, lead, retain, pay Social Security tax, W-2, everybody, of internal administration staff. I mean, what do you notice when you come alongside of a business? How does it free up their life?
Yeah, so I've rarely in the past 15 years have encountered a business that would not necessarily benefit from using an outsourced accounting service. I'm a huge proponent of outsourcing everything from in my personal life and my business life that I don't enjoy or I don't have the capacity to do. So we found that for all of our clients, outsourcing is just a really good fit because you don't have to necessarily fully commit to an employee. And to your point, it's much less expensive to outsource accounting, because the problem that a lot of businesses run into, I would say really in that $2 to $5 million, maybe up to $10 million range, is that they want one person to do all of their accounting. So they want one person to do their bookkeeping, and they're also going to be the person that's doing the financial reporting, and like maybe also they're going to be the person that's doing the CFO. It is impossible to find that in one person, because your person who's capable of doing CFO level work does not want to be like inputting checks and doing bank reconciliations. So I found that almost every business can benefit from outsourcing at least one of those three roles, and that really allows each person to do what they're really good at. So we can give you like the best bookkeeper, we can give you the best outsourced controller, we can give you the best CFO, using only the hours that they need. So it's much more efficient from like a financial standpoint, because you're paying only a few hours for each of these people, whatever your business would need. But it's also just from a staffing perspective, much easier to, make changes in your business and things like that using kind of contractors instead of employees.
Yeah. So when people want to get started with you, oftentimes there's a big cleanup and then you have ongoing services. What does that look like? What does your process look like? How do you like to work? If somebody's listening to this and they like the idea of having a high caliber CPA that can do almost, audit level type caliber cleanups and everything, what does that look like when they get started?
Yeah. So we have a pretty set and rigorous process. We definitely don't do the same thing for every client, because every client is unique and every client has different needs, but we follow the same kind of process. So typically, I have yet to find a client that does not have some level of cleanup required. Even if they think it's good, you probably need some cleanup at least. So, and a lot of times they're like, oh, I'm 6 months behind. We have so many clients this month, it's July. They're like, oh, I need to get caught up on 2024. So I think we've taken on 3 clients this month who are like, catch me up for the year. So we'll do a lot of the catch up work or cleanup of prior records. We have some clients, we had one that we literally cleaned up 5 years of accounting, and they're a $4 million a year business. It took us a very long time, but we did get them cleaned up and kind of audit ready. So there's always some level of cleanup in the beginning. And then generally what we do is what we call the process implementation piece. So kind of how I talked about the internal controls and processes, what we'll do there is we will look at the processes of the business and see what they're doing well, see what they're, could be doing better. Some typical things we do, like most companies, we put on a bill pay platform, something like bill.com, because it's really reasonably priced. It's less than $100 a month, and it's something that you can use if you're being audited or just if you want to be audit ready and have a really good process in place. It allows for a really good approval workflow and things like that, and organizes the documents really well. So that's just an example of something that we would kind of put in place. Some clients we write full SOPs, meaning we'll do interviews with current staff, document all the processes, put together a full scope of work and implementation plan of how we're going to fix those processes. And so that piece ranges widely depending on the size and the needs of the client. But then the end result of all of our clients is that we're delivering consistent monthly financial statements. Some only do quarterly, but 95% of them, we're sending monthly financial statements within 2 to 3 weeks of month end. And that is always, even if you're a really small client, a full reporting package. It says this is, these are some items that we may be missing, or these are some items that we don't have full resolution on. And here's your balance sheet, here's your profit and loss, here's your AP aging, here's your list of vendors and what you've spent on them every month. So we have a consistent financial reporting package that we deliver every month for all of our clients. And then some people kind of kick up to that next level of CFO services, where we would be doing cash planning, cash projections. So we'll have weekly meetings where we have cash flow discussions, or profitability is a big thing for some of our clients, where we'll look at, an event they have or a specific contract they have and help them calculate whether or not they're profitable and if they need to make any changes. So the CFO service, I would say, is really where, it's highly unique to every business, but the bookkeeper and kind of controller outsourced accounting services generally follow that plan of cleanup, process analysis and implementation, and monthly ongoing services.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So when you're coming alongside a business, one of the things that sounds like is nice is that the owners and the executives or the leadership team don't have to really manage you. It sounds like you're taking leadership and bringing to the table. Is that a different dynamic than maybe just a typical in-house accountant, or how does that play out?
Yeah, and I think that this is kind of like a big selling point for a lot of people. Is a lot of people, like I have one client who's like says all the time, like, just don't involve me. Just here's everything you need and like just do it. And I don't want to talk to you very much. No, he's a really nice guy, but a lot of my clients do want to be able to take a step back and like they'll give us access to everything we need. Like we'll have, read-only bank access, and we'll be able to log in and pull all the reports that we need. And we're able to really take a lot of that off their plate. Some people do want to be more involved, but we're able to kind of jump in and take that off of their plate. And especially with kind of the depth of my background and the experience that I've had, and I've been a CPA for 15 years, generally I'm able to jump in and be the one that provides solutions rather than saying like, hey, teach me how to do this. Like I want to be the person that teaches you how to do it. I generally able to jump in and find all the problems and propose the solutions without having a lot of guidance or training. And of course there's always in the beginning and always in this implementation and cleanup period, there's a lot of back and forth of kind of questions, right? But my goal is to be the one like asking the questions and once I've done the work on my own. So I want to be asking you a few simple questions to kind of set me on the right path. But for the most part, we're able to jump in and do most of that ourselves.
Strategic leadership like that is fantastic. I know as all business owners and just executive teams and leadership teams, every time they have to decide how should this look, I have to lead this employee to guide us. It takes a lot of energy. So I think that that's a great thing. Now, can you share a little bit for anybody that's still listening here? Talk to us a little about, you started your own business. Talk to us a little bit about who you are and what what else do you do outside of counting beans and doing everything? Help us get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, it feels like that it kind of takes over your life. But yeah, so like I had mentioned before, I worked for some large accounting firms. I worked in an audit role and then, consulting and outsourced accounting. And in my last job, I was working as an outsourced accountant for a large firm. And at that point, I was like, I can definitely just do this myself, right? Like, I know what these clients need. It's just a matter of finding the people who need my service and kind of like matching up with them. So yeah, I started my own company in March of 2023. But outside of work, I have 3 little kids. They're my oldest just turned 9, my only son is 6, and then I have another daughter who's going to be 4 in a couple months, and 2 dogs. And we like to travel. That was kind of another push to kind of starting my own thing, is I wanted to be able to make my own schedule. Like the school hours and the work day just do not align. So it was kind of becoming difficult to juggle like a very traditional 9 to 5. And also like the kids go to school 8 to 3. So it's very difficult to manage the two. But yeah, I really like working for myself because I can merge those two really well. So it's been really good so far.
That's fantastic. I think I'd love to know a little bit of what are the typical types of customers, and tell us a little bit about the team you have. I know one thing I've been really impressed with is that your ability to not only be the person that has to do everything, but you've also built a nice team of super competent people around you. Talk to us a little bit about your team, or a little bit about, who are the types of companies that you end up working with, and over your 15 years and now, like what does that look like?
Yeah, so like I said, we do have a wide variety of industries, and that is what was great about my public accounting experience. Is I did not work for a Big 4 firm, kind of intentionally, because I could not handle that level of grind. But also, I feel like a smaller firm, like a regional firm, you really get a better picture of like the start to finish of a set of financial statements. Whereas like a big four firm, like you might be auditing investments for one company for 7 months straight. Like in my background, I've just had like a really good wide variety of industries and gotten to see the whole picture. So I would say we most commonly serve professional service industries like law firms. I have a large event planning company, a security company, a phlebotomy company. So I would say services, professional services are the bulk of our client base, but we really do have a lot of other clients too. I really, really love not-for-profit work. We have a really great large nonprofit client specifically where I'm their CFO. So we do work in like Ukraine and Iraq and Gaza, and it's like so fulfilling. And I love non-for-profits. We have a couple non-for-profit clients, and I really like that industry. And I think not-for-profit specifically is an area that is really, really, really well served by an outsourcing model, because not-for-profits are always, trying to use their funds on their programs and making a difference, and that's what they're there for. And the administrative cost of having to need to use unrestricted funds on overhead or administration is, takes away from their mission. So if you can get somebody in there that you can use for, your specific monthly financial statements or your program reporting, I think it provides like a really good fit for nonprofits. And I personally love working for nonprofits. And then we also have some e-commerce clients where we're, helping manage their inventory. And so we have a couple of those too. And then I've worked on some biotech. I've worked for a lot of like medical companies, like doctor's offices and things like that as well. I had some interesting experience back when I was in public accounting working on films and entertainment, which I really liked. I thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, we kind of have a big wide variety of industries that we can serve. Yeah, so I do have a really strong team behind me, and we're kind of always expanding and kind of building that out. But I am kind of the project manager and project lead on all cleanups and implementations, and especially as people are kind of getting started, I am the one handling all the onboarding and handling kind of getting up to that point of recurring services. And then I'm lucky that my team is like really good at following and setting processes, and they're so detail oriented, which kind of fills a gap for me. They're really, really good at the details. So they're able to help me a lot on that, on those very detail-oriented tasks. And once we kind of get to the point of maintenance, they're really good at taking over. I still run all of my client meetings. I'm still reviewing everything that goes out the door. So it's a good blend of like, they kind of help me in the background with the more routine tasks or more detail-oriented tasks, but I'm still able to be like the client-facing contact.
That's great. Nice to meet you, Christina. You do a fantastic job of it as I've gotten to know you over the last couple of months. Excited for folks, if you're thinking of booking a consultation, head to Complete Balance and she'll take care of you. Any last things that you would want to share?
No, I think we covered it. I mean, I kind of touched on it before, but our favorite projects are like cleaning up the disasters. That is kind of what makes my heart happy, is like, oh, this is such a mess. I can't wait to get in there and like pull it apart and make it better. So those are our favorite projects. And I have so many clients that come to me and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. Like, it's such a mess. I haven't done anything for years. And I like cannot tell you how many times I've been like, don't worry about it. Trust me, you're not the worst I've seen, and we'll get you fixed. And we always are able to kind of get them fixed up and get them set up on a path to success. So those are our favorite projects, and I feel like everybody has a little bit of it that needs fixing. So, that's our bread and butter. That's what we love to do.